Not just at United, but generally in football, we talk about heroes, players that perform so well or we feel such an emotional attachment to them for heroic deeds done on the pitch, that we bestow on them hero status. Well, this United Legends video is dedicated to someone who went beyond the norm, yet never won a medal playing for us. Instead, he impressed on the pitch as a world-class goalkeeper, and when called upon, saved lives off it. It's time to pay our respects to a humble club servant who changed the course of United history for the better, Harry Gregg. Henry Gregg was born on the 27th of October 1932 in Maherafelt, County Londonderry, Northern Ireland. Whilst training as an apprentice joiner, Harry began his career at 14 with Windsor Park Swifts, who were essentially Belfast Linfield's reserve side, before signing for local club Coleraine. At the tender age of 18, Doncaster Rovers shrewdly snapped up the keeper, who would then go on to give 5 of his best playing years to the club. In 1957, looking for some competition for his current number one, Matt Busby was so convinced to buy the young keeper that he paid £23,000 to secure his services, then a world record fee for a goalkeeper. Harry Gregg debuted for United on the 21st of December 1957, keeping a clean sheet in a 4-0 victory over Leicester City. From that point, he'd never be on the losing side until everything changed in February 1958. Harry Gregg was a bold and commanding guardian. The Ulsterman was a box keeper, fiercely determined to dominate the area. He went after anything that moved, and anyone in his way, friend or foe, was clattered. Harry was brave to the point of reckless, which led to numerous injuries. Unfortunately, personality-wise, Gregg's forthrightness led him into conflict with Busby and others, which did him no favours, as no one was allowed to get the better of the boss. That didn't mean he wasn't well-liked and popular. Harry had only been at Old Trafford for little more than a month when disaster struck the side, and he showed what kind of man he was. On the 6th of February 1958, whilst returning from a successful European Cup quarter-finals second leg match in Belgrade, the plane stopped in Munich for refuelling. After 2 failed takeoff attempts in near blizzard conditions, the passengers begrudgingly and with a deep collective sense of foreboding, boarded again for what would be for the last fateful time. In the process of taking off, the runway now had slush that had compacted to ice, causing the plane to skid and not gather enough velocity to take off. Instead, it went through the back of the runway and crashed into a house. Harry remarkably found himself alive in the darkness and free of his seat due to a broken safety belt within the burning wreckage of the fuselage. With blood on his face, he crawled through the dark towards the light, and getting there he could see 5 men running away, saying it was going to blow up. But then he heard a child crying. A pregnant woman, the wife of a Yugoslav diplomat, Vera Lukic, and her daughter Vesna were there. He found them and took them out of the plane, saving their lives. Without a thought for his own safety, and with the danger of an imminent explosion, he started to see if he could save any of his teammates and returned to the plane 2 more times. After finding trapped teammates that he couldn't move, he got out of the plane again and went to the other side and saw unconscious colleagues, Dennis Violet and Bobby Charlton, who were badly injured with head wounds, half in and out of the plane. He grabbed both of them in turn by the waistband of their trousers to safety, 20 yards clear of the wreckage. He then came across the boss, Matt Busby, who was in incredible pain. He made him more comfortable and looked for others he could aid. He found former schoolmate Jackie Blanchflower. Jackie had broken his back, ribs and pelvis. Harry tied his tie around the almost severed arm of his teammate, helping to preserve it and curtail Jackie's blood loss. Afterwards, he didn't talk about it. He didn't think it was anything special. He felt that he was just in that position to do what he did. The actual details of his heroism only came out decades later. That gives you an idea of the selfless bravery and modesty of the man. Despite the trauma of the event and escaping barely with their lives, only 13 days after the tragedy, on the 19th of February, Harry Gregg and defender Bill Foulkes turned out for United against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup. They were the only ones of the United players and staff to walk out of the crash almost physically unharmed, but the psychological trauma is something that can't be measured. The match was won 3-0. They'd helped the side to the final versus Bolton that year, joined by 2 teammates whose life Harry had saved, Bobby Charlton and Dennis Violet. Despite the hopes of the nation wanting United victory, apart from Bolton fans of course, it wasn't to be, with the Trotters running out 2-0 winners, including a goal from Nat Lofthouse, which was a shoulder charge on Gregg that barged him and the ball over the line. Despite being dazed, the Irishman played the whole of the rest of the game. Gregg was Busby's number 1 for the next 4 seasons, but was plagued by shoulder injuries and due to his impulsive bravery, even got himself a fractured skull at one point. This dashed his chances for winners' medals, where there were strict guidelines as to what you had to do to be awarded one, very unlike today. Despite coming back from injury for the 1963 FA Cup final versus Leicester City, a young David Gaskell was preferred between the sticks by Busby, and it was he who would claim a deserved winner's medal that day. Harry Gregg stayed at Old Trafford for just over 3 more seasons, but the aforementioned shoulder injury meant that he missed the title-winning 1964-65 campaign, the 1965 Charity Shield, and as he only played 2 matches of the 1966-67 title triumph, that too. If anyone deserved a winner's medal, it was the Ulsterman, but he left Old Trafford empty-handed. Even before making it to Manchester, as a Doncaster Rovers player, Harry Gregg won his first Northern Ireland caps. He debuted versus Wales in March 1954 in a 2-1 win. He helped his country to qualify for the 1958 World Cup finals in Sweden, squeezing past footballing royalty Italy, as well as Portugal in their 3-nation qualifying group. Drawn in a World Cup finals pool with world champions West Germany, the Irish took the second spot above the Czechs and the Argentinians. They eventually went out to France in the quarter-finals, but at the tournament's end, Gregg was named as the keeper for the FIFA World Cup 1958 All-Star team. West Germany's legendary striker Uwe Seeler likened Gregg to a springing panther during their crucial match. Further, the Irishman was also named as FIFA's best goalkeeper in the world for 1958. Harry went on to collect 25 Northern Ireland caps in total between 1954 and 1963. With the arrival of youngster Alex Stepney from Chelsea, Harry Gregg, at 33 years of age with never-ending shoulder niggles, was now surplus to requirements at Old Trafford. Like many players of the era, was treated poorly, being 1 year short of his testimonial, and despite his bravery and pain, did not receive a benefit match, which was important to supplement a loyal player's fairly paltry wages at the time. Harry Gregg served United in 247 matches over 9 seasons. The Ulsterman left for Stoke City in December 1966, after ironically playing his final match for United in early September against the Potters. However, he would only play 2 games for Stoke before he hung up his boots at the end of that season. Harry Gregg would soon find a position as manager of Shrewsbury Town and later would take the reins of Swansea City and Crewe Alexandra. All of these tenures were unimpressive for the most part. However, new United manager Dave Sexton offered the former Red Devils keeper a coaching role, and he stayed until the boss was sacked in 1981. The United connection continued after Harry joined former Red Devils legend Lou Macari at Swindon Town. His final role in football management was at Carlisle United and ended in relegation after he took over from manager Bob Stokoe. He left soon afterwards in 1987. In 1995, Harry Gregg was awarded an MBE and in 2008 accepted a doctorate from the University of Ulster. Further, the hero of Munich, as he was known, was granted an OBE in the 2019 New Year's Honours List. Harry also experienced adversity in his personal as well as his professional life. His first wife passed away from cancer in 1961 and he lost a daughter to the same disease in 2009. He himself survived a double bout of bowel and prostate cancer. Finally, Harry received a deserved testimonial decades later in 2012 when Alex Ferguson brought a full-strength United side to Windsor Park to face an Irish League 11. Most of the money was given to charity and special causes. The hero of Munich, Harry Gregg, passed away on the 16th of February 2020 after several weeks of illness in Coleraine, County Derry, Northern Ireland. He was 87 years old and was survived by his second wife and 5 of his 6 children. George Best, fellow Northern Irishman, as an apprentice found it an honour to clean Harry's boots and said, "He was a legend back home, which is remarkable for a goalkeeper, and led many Northern Irish to support Man United. Bravery is one thing, but what Harry did was about more than bravery. It's about goodness." Sir Bobby Charlton, one of the people Harry saved, described him as a shining light. He deserves to be remembered as one of the greatest names in Manchester United's history. Sleep well and rest in peace, hero and United legend, Harry Gregg. So now you know a bit more of a bona fide United hero and legend, Harry Gregg. What do you make of this modest, brave man? Write your thoughts in the comments below and like, share and subscribe. Once again, thank you for your support.